Well, hello there, friends. John Campea here, senior editor of the Movie Blog, and if you don't mind, I'd like to take just a few moments of your time to discuss an issue that causes me a great deal of personal stress and quite frankly pisses me off. You see, despite the fact that it's 2009, the vast majority of movie theaters in North America today still do not offer us the ability to pre-select our seating before going into the movie, and quite frankly, that's retarded. Now, to give some context to this frustration of mine, let me tell you a couple of examples of midnight screenings that I went to. The first was a few months ago when the new James Bond film Quantum of Solace was coming out. I was in Hollywood, so what I did was I went to the website of the ArcLight Theater here in Hollywood, which offers pre-selected seating. I went to the website, picked the show time, the 12:01 in the morning show. Then it opened up a screen, asked me which seats I would like to have. I selected my seats, bought my tickets, and my process was complete. On the night of the midnight screening, I went to the theater at 5 to midnight, bought some popcorn, found my seat, went and sat down and enjoyed the film. It was a wonderful movie-going experience. In contrast, a few weeks ago I was up home in Canada, where they do not have pre-selected seatings at their movies. Wolverine was opening up, and I wanted to go to the midnight screening. I went to Cineplex Odeon's website, the theater chain in Canada, bought tickets for the 12:01 midnight screening, however, could not pre-select my seat. This meant on the evening of the screening, instead of going at 5 to midnight, I had to go to the movie theater at 10 o'clock at night or risk getting a neck-breaker seat staring up at the screen like this because I couldn't pre-select my seat. My friend and I showed up. There were already 75 people in line. Naively, I thought maybe I could show up 2 hours in advance, check the line, and then maybe go to the bookstore and kill some time. But no, I had to get in line immediately or risk getting a horrible seat with a ticket I already paid for. The result? I ended up standing and sitting on concrete for 2 hours. At one point, the ushers wouldn't even let us leave the line to go and get some popcorn or something to eat and drink because too many people were coming in and out and cutting in the line. They wanted to maintain the integrity of the line. When they finally did open the theater doors and let us in, people rushed in like a bunch of cattle running from the slaughterhouse because nobody had their seats yet. Everybody had to rush in, even though they bought tickets weeks in advance, to find a seat for themselves. Poor suckers who showed up with, say, only an hour to go until the movie, ended up with absolutely horrible seats, couldn't sit with their friends that they came with, and then generally had their movie watching experience ruined. Now, once you got into the theater, the battle wasn't over. Inevitably, you had some jackass sitting there with one seat and then 2 jackets spread over 7 other seats, saving seats for their 7 jackass friends who couldn't be bothered to show up early. So even though you showed up 2 hours early and put in your time sitting on that concrete, no, this jackass and their jackass friends had to save their seats so they could stay at home while you sat in line watching the final episode of Lost. Jackasses. Or maybe even worse, a friend of yours cons you into saving them a seat. Or maybe the girl you want to impress by bringing her to a Wolverine screening doesn't want to show up until 12:01 herself, and you're stuck in the awkward situation of saving a seat also. It was one of the most miserable movie-going experiences of my life, sitting on concrete for 2 hours, getting only a half-decent seat, even though I bought my tickets weeks in advance. This is a horrible system. For decades now, any sporting event you would go to would have pre-assigned seating. Row E, seat 36. Concerts have pre-assigned seating. You know where you're sitting. Even most airlines today, you know what seat you have before you ever get on the plane. In the age of information and databases and the internet, there is simply no reason to not have pre-selected seatings for the movies you go to. Let me suggest some of the obvious benefits. Number 1. No need to show up an hour early or 2 hours early or 4 hours early for a movie that you bought a ticket well in advance for. This is an obvious benefit. Number 2, no having to save seats for your friends. I hate that awkward situation. Number 3, even worse, not having to show up and find that even though there are empty seats still available and not that many people there, most of the good seats are being saved by the jackasses we already talked about. Number 4, and this is a big one, I've seen this happen a lot in a lot of kids films like Kung Fu Panda or Monsters vs. Aliens. A lot of parents plan on taking their kids and a bunch of their kids' friends. A lot of times I've seen these groups of people come in only to have these parents find out that they don't have 7 seats together somewhere where they can sit all these kids, or 8 seats or 9 seats, and they've got to split the kids up. Not a good situation. If theaters had this simple policy of letting people pre-select their seats in advance online, easy to do, these problems could be avoided. Overall, there is simply no reason, with today's technology, the ease and simplicity of the internet, that every movie theater in North America should be able to do what every Coliseum, what every airline already does, which is offer pre-selected seating to their viewers. I think this would increase the enjoyability of the movie-going experience for most people. I think it'll make things simple for the movie theaters. There simply are no practical drawbacks. Why don't they do this? A lot of places around the world do. Why not here? That's my rant. For the Movie Blog, I'm John Campea.